Hi everyone, this is Kusharshish Mali. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about we are going to convert context file binary to server. Okay. Now while this was live streamed on Twitch, I do have a few pointers to share so that you guys can also get some context. So I'll just quickly open Westom and start working. Westom is the terminal emulator I use for work. You guys should give it a try. It's nice. Okay, enough of this. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. And I'm looking for context palette RS. So I'm in the branch right now. I'll just quickly go full screen. You guys can see hopefully. And I'm going to go to server.rs, right? So this is the current implementation of what we have so far. Okay, so let me just zoom in for you all. Now quickly see over on the bottom right, you see what it said. It mentioned that it's indexing, right? So Rust Analyzer is the LSP that is trying to index to the whole workspace, if I'm not wrong, right? And right now the way context palette works is it's a binary. And I don't want it to be binary, okay? Because with binary, the problem is that you will be going through each file one by one, for example. And whenever a user calls for a current file, so I can do context palette context, right? It's going to go for the whole file, okay? And it's going to give you the output. Right now, the file length is very small. Like it's around how many lines, right? 176 lines of code, okay? But let's imagine that it's 1000 lines of code, right? Of course, it's not ideal to have 1000 lines of code, but it's very common to have those kind of things, okay? So in that case, it's going to be very slow. So my aim was to make sure that even when the user, let's say, is in a long file, they should be able to do it, okay? So that's the whole idea of what we are doing here, okay? Now let me quickly open, I'll link, so please go in the description down below. You'll see an issue that is relevant to this, okay? How we are going to think about it, what's the algorithm and how will we start working. So far, what I've thought about is that we'll have a state enum, which has starting, running, stopped, and failed, okay? So in case server is not running, the default will be stopped, okay? Because you don't know whether it's running or not, right? And if the server is starting, that means it is already indexing. In that case, we'll have starting. If indexing has already finished, we'll put running. And if there's any failure, let's say the command was inappropriate or something just happened, a flaky failure as well. In that case, I want failed enum state. Okay, the reason this is there is also because I want to retry in case of flaky failures, right? It's possible that something could happen and a retry would fix it. Of course, that will be logged for us to debug later on, but I would definitely want to retry number of times. That is not decided yet, but I want to have this functionality beforehand. Okay, over here we have DB handler. The reason I'm having a DB handler and a server as separate structs is because I want to handle database separately versus how the server should work, okay? Because in that case, I will have more flexibility on how I want to handle DB. Should it be a cache or should it be something that is living until this uptime of the system, okay? It's possible when the system is restarted, all the files that are in the TMP folder, they will be deleted, right? So I could think in that route. I could also store it permanently. I could play around with different things, okay? So that's what I'm thinking right now. Okay, so over here we have impl db handler where we are just basically initializing the db, and we have a retry method as well, which is right now to do, right? Get current metadata, simple thing. Now this db metadata is very interesting, okay? Because the way I want to use db metadata is I want it to store the state, workspace path, current progress and total count. Now I'll come to these points later on, but what current progress gives me is I want to be able to show to the user that this is how much we have done, okay? Now it's possible that they would like to just see the percentage, and it's also possible that they would like to see number of files that have been indexed so far, okay? Now percentage can be calculated by number of files that have been indexed, right? But it's not vice versa. So you definitely want to know total count, and of course if you have percentage, then it's vice versa, right? So I just thought that let's keep it simple. Let's get current progress. It's an integer file index, you are at or percentage done. That's something that we can think about in the future, and that we have total count as well, okay? That's what we've done so far. Then we are basically having a server struct over here, which takes a state. What's the state of the server? DB handler is also having a state, by the way, DB metadata. So, I mean, these states can mean different things given on the usage, right? So it's not an issue at all. Then you have state DB handler, because in the server, I want to have the DB handler within itself because it's kind of a child to the main server, right? That's how it works. Then you have impulse server. I'm having a few helper methods over here. Let's skip to the good part. Yeah. So this is very important, right? What happens when you start the server? I wanted a metadata to come in, right? And then you have let workspace path. You get the metadata, like whatever workspace you are in right now, you get it from there. My idea was let's iterate through the whole workspace, given the workspace path. Okay, and now this is going to be the async function that I'm going to iterate through, right? Now this is what does it do, right? It has, let's imagine that it's going to reiterate in case of another child workspace is there, child directory is there. It's possible that a directory has another directory in it, right? That's very possible. So I just want to call it as a separate sync function. And what you do is you create a path out of it. This is very interesting, right? If a path is a directory, you go through each entries, right, in the path itself, read directory, and you keep on pushing this task. So basically you spawn a thread, okay, and you push it over there. So whenever you call the spawn, right, it has already started executing. That's what it means. So if over here, if you go to the documentation, spawning a task enables a task to execute concurrently to other tasks. The spawn task may execute on the current thread or it may be sent to a different thread, right? This is very important. The provided future will start running in the background immediately when a spawn is called, even if you don't await the return join handle, right? So that's it, right? We are already calling it, I believe, and that's what it's going to do. But over here, what I'm doing is I'm storing the output over, like just for the order to be maintained, right? And when you do task.await, it just makes sure that the order is maintained. Although I don't think I need the order, but I was just trying from the examples, and that's how we are right now. If the path is not a directory, in that case, I'll just check if the file is valid, right? All it does is, if I quickly show you, it checks if the file is existing or not. If like first of all it exists, and secondly, is it a file itself, right? Of course, this will honestly, it's already checked, so it should be fine. But I'm just adding this as a second check to be able to debug later on in case anything blows up. Then you have index file, which basically goes to the path and indices, like index it creates the index, right? And you can skip this implementation so far. For now, we'll handle that in another video. Yeah, and let's go back over here. If file is not valid, we'll just log it on here. Okay, so that's the first step where we are at right now. If you're thinking this is not enough of async right now, I know, please, like, I'm not trying to act like this is already done. That's why it's part one of whatever we have done. I wanted to keep the video very short because attention span has reduced. So if you want to watch me doing it live, you can follow me on Twitch as well. The handle is buffet codes. That will be in the description down below. So if you go over here, you will see a pinned issue, right? So let me quickly walk through this as well. So convert context file from binary to server is a pinned issue on my repository. So you can take a look at why we are doing it, what's the algorithm proposed, and what are the implementation details, including the challenges. If you are interested in contributing, I think this is a great point to start by just thinking about how will you do it. Okay. It's not enough right now. It's not done right now. So please calm down in the comments. Please don't be very critical. But you can be kind and please let me know whatever suggestions you have. I think the best place would be this GitHub description issue right here. It will be nice for you to have a footprint as well. If you want to contribute, please feel free to do that as well. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for hanging around. We'll talk again next time. Follow me on Twitch if you want to catch me live. We'll have generally an AMA every weekend on Sunday, 9:30 p.m. IST. That's the time that I've been thinking about. But if you want to keep updated, please follow my Discord channel as well. It will be in the description down below. And thank you so much, guys, for bearing me with on this video. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for all the kind comments that you have passed throughout this journey so far. Feel free to join the Discord channel. As I said, join me live as well on Twitch and YouTube. Hope you have a great day, great night, great afternoon, whatever you're having. This was Kushar Shimali. You were watching me on YouTube. Thank you. Bye bye.